Hello everyone, it's Donna and today we're gonna paint this beautiful cityscape in watercolor. And I'm also gonna be talking about my experience, how I got really sick last year and how I got better. So first I started with the pencil. I'm doing some sketch, a really rough sketch and quick sketch of this focal point, which is this main building. So when I am painting my cityscapes, I always start with the biggest subject, which is the focal point, and then the minor, which are the smaller subjects, and then the jumper, the subjects that connect all the subjects in a painting. So as I've said, I'm going to share about my experience 2 years ago, and I got really sick, and this experience is something not easy to me to share, but I feel like the need to share it to you as a testimony about God's love, perfect love, and faithful love to us. And also, this situation it was not an easy situation, and I feel like it's probably gonna help some of you, just in case you find yourself in this situation. I am adding the little subjects in this sketch, and I'm just doing it really quickly. And how to get better with sketching, especially with a very challenging cityscape, is just a matter of practice and observing and learning every day from books or videos such as this. So don't give up, don't be too hard on yourself, just in case you don't, do it right the first time. Because I've done it many times before to get these skills that I want, and I'm still learning. So to get back, 2 years ago I got really sick, and I didn't know what was going on with me and my body. That was after I had my wonderful vacation in Switzerland with my sister, and everything was just a paradise. And then going back to work and the reality, I started to notice I'm starting to have like intense pain in the lower part of my body, so the hips and my legs, and sometimes I couldn't even walk, and it wasn't easy to determine where are the parts that really hurts. So I've gone to many emergency rooms, and I've visited quite a lot. I've met so many doctors. I had lots of exams like CT scan, MRI, and all the x-rays and ultrasound that you can imagine. I almost did it every month. Every time I would go to the ER and visit the hospital again, and they would tell me there's nothing wrong with you, and you have some kidney stones, but those kidney stones you have to eliminate them, but they are not the one causing you this intense pain. As I have realized that none of these doctors are, none of the doctors were going to, to heal me and help me, and they were just there to help me, stop the pain, like temporarily. And Then what I did is that I did everything. I did diets. I did all kind of sorts of diets, and nothing really worked. My situation was getting worse. I was having really like anxiety, depressions. It was getting worse. Every time I would feel the pain, I would feel panic attack, and there were many nights that I couldn't sleep. And I feel like if I sleep, I wouldn't be able to wake up the next morning. That's how worse it was. And I was just struggling with so much pain. And I was struggling to feel better every day, to be in good mood, to feel happy, to take care of my body. I've done everything I could possibly can. And with all my might and all my force, and with so much help and support from my family. But the situation didn't get any much better. I always went back and ended up in pain, in this extreme pain. I would wake up in pain, I would sleep with pain, I would paint in pain, and I almost felt like I was like Van Gogh. I would paint and then I would cry, and then I would paint and then I would cry. So as you can see, going back to the painting, as you can see, I've added small details like the birds. I'm trying to complete this watercolor painting sketch. And now we are going to start painting, and I'm really excited to do this because this is one of my favorite place on earth, and that's the south of France. I'm actually French Filipino, and I visited this place so many times and I fell in love with it. I like the ambience and the traditional feel when you are in this place. So anyway, I'm going back to that experience. So the situation was really intense, and the depression was getting worse and worse along with all the pain. And I am actually Catholic, but I haven't really, I haven't known God like for real. I came from a very Catholic country, Philippines, and my family would always go to church every weekends, every Sunday. But I haven't known God until now. As my mom is really quite a believer, I started to go back and talking to God and going to church and renewing my faith. And I remember during those intense pain, some moments I would go to the park, I would walk alone, I would just walk and walk and walk with the pain, crying. And I remember I asked God, why is this happening to me? Is this a punishment? Or is this a curse? Or is this a blessing in disguise? And I just couldn't understand what was going on with me. And during some intense pain, I would ask God to do what kind of life is this? Is like, if I am going to suffer this pain all my life, then I'd rather be gone. So I know that was intense to say that, but I was really in complete and extreme depression and pain that I was able to say that. But now looking back, I had to experience all of those pain, all of those anxiety and feeling of loneliness and to be lost and to be tired and exhausted and hopeless in order to be the kind of person that I wanted to be, in order to be the person that I am right now. So wherever you are in a situation that you are right now and you feel like it's never gonna end, in God's time, it's gonna end. It will definitely will. So now I'm back to this painting, and as you can see, I am using this flat brush, and I'm very careful with the roof. And I wash my watercolor paint well so that we don't have this muddy color, because muddy color appears when we don't wash our watercolor brush well. So going back to my story, so the pain lasted for almost 2 years, and then I was just asking God what was happening to me, and that is there any end to this? There were a lot of disappointments, the moments I say, okay, I found a cure, and then after 3 days it's back again, and then it was like a cycle of I found a cure and then I'm going back again to that pain. So there were so many disappointments, and then I said, nobody's gonna help me, nobody can help me, and even God had abandoned me and completely forgotten me. I probably deserved this. And so during that time, I've already bought a ticket for a holiday in Philippines for 2 months, and so that time during that time I was even skeptical to go back home. That's because it's almost 33-hour flight along with a stopover and everything, and that is huge because during my daily life, everyday life in Europe, in Spain, an hour sitting and not moving is a punishment. That the pain is extreme when I was actually sitting down and not moving. So going back to this painting, if you've noticed, I'm doing really quick dry brushes, and I'm leaving some whites, and I'm doing this on purpose because those whites we're gonna use them later, and also those whites are going to be the sparkles or the lights on this painting, so they are very important, and you can achieve these whites by doing quick brush stroke with the pigment of watercolor. So I went back home. Fortunately, I was able to survive that the longest trip of my life, and with my daughter, with all the thoughts that no, I don't want to be the cause of emergency landing or whatsoever, but I survived it, thank God. And the moment I came in Philippines, my family took me to their friend doctor, which I wasn't sure if it was a good idea, because the doctor scared me more than all the doctors I've met in Spain. And I don't want to question his motives, but anyway, he really scared me that he said that I could be bedridden if I do one more movement. So I went to the hospital for 4 days, I think, and he was saying that I must have some problem with my spine. And I was just there sitting and listening, and my family were horrified about that, and I was just stunned. But I know deep inside I was panicking and very, very scared. So in the hospital, I was wearing braces. I couldn't move. They put the brace on my head. It was really, really tight so that I couldn't move my neck and my spine, because they're telling me one more movement and you're gonna be bedridden all your life. So imagine the horror me and my family felt during those moments. So I did the MRI. Those were the longest 4 days of my life. I didn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. And after waiting for forever, the result came, and I had no problem with my spine. And when I heard that, I felt relief and very happy. At the same time, I just wanted to sleep because I haven't slept for 4 days. And we went back home. And of course, we talked to the doctor, that my family talked to the doctor, whom they think took advantage of the situation. I don't know, maybe for money matters or whatsoever. And that he really scared me, and it was not necessary. So I went back home and I just stopped everything. The medication, I decided to stop everything. We decided to stop everything. I talked to the priest. I prayed the rosary every night. I was completely happy. And little by little, I didn't even realize it, but the pain slowly faded away. It faded away until the moment that I said, what was going on? I don't have any pain anymore. This is not normal. So me being in pain for almost a year and a half in Spain, for me not having pain anymore was not normal. That's how extreme it was. And after going back, after 2 months in Philippines, I went back to Spain with zero pain. I was completely healed, and little by little, I finally understood where God was taking me. Little by little, I finally understood what was God doing in my life, and how He was showing me how to be healed. And me, I was waiting like, one day I'm praying, and then when I pray, I just get better. So I was praying for a miracle, and miracle happens. But miracles also happen when you completely have faith in God and do your part. So after coming back to Philippines, after a few months or weeks, it was a few weeks, the pain went back. And here I was completely devastated. So it was false hope again, I was asking myself. But then I didn't give up on that moment. I said if I got better in Philippines, then I would definitely get better in Europe. And if God was able to heal me in Philippines, He could definitely heal me over and over again. So I started reading, and there is this doctor, Dr. Bergs, in YouTube that I was keen to listening to. And he was talking about something about gluten. Then I didn't know how I came there. But I think it's because probably I was really praying a lot. I was asking God to show me the way and to guide me. And I just stumbled upon this video talking about gluten. There were those voices inside of me telling me that this could be it. This could be the reason of all your pain. So I started doing some research. I had to help myself, and because no doctors could really figure out what was happening to me. I've done all the tests, the most expensive test and examine, and so far only God was actually helping me and showing me the way. And so I did lots of research, reading and watching some testimonies, and all the symptoms and the pain that I've heard that they're feeling were exactly the mimic of what I was going through. And I couldn't believe myself that how is this possible? I wasn't able to see this before. But then, going back, I think God, as Priscilla Shearer said, that God allowed us to go fishing and fishing and fishing. He allowed me to go looking for cure, from Europe to the other parts of the world in Philippines. For a solution of how to heal myself, so that I will have no choice but to lean on the majestic power of God. And looking back, I felt grateful. I felt grateful that I went through that. Of course, the pain was uncomfortable and horrible, but when I realized how my faith has grown and how this part of my life completely changed the person that I was and that I am today, I just felt grateful and thankful for those challenges that God has given me in my life. And looking back, now I realize that I wasn't walking alone. Jesus was holding my hand all this time and just, trying to tell me that, hey, Donna, you were never alone. I was always with you. Sorry guys, I feel like I'm crying. And so I'm just gonna go back to this painting before tears fall down. And so as you can see, I've added some washes already, the second washes. And now I'm trying to look for all the people. 3 people I've sketched, and I couldn't see them anymore because I did some dark washes. But now I've tried to figure out where they are. So I will make them visible using lifting. And this is the most exciting part of being an impressionist, is that it's an illusion. It's an illusion of images of people and everything in there. And as long as you have, the experience and the right proportion maybe and shapes, even if it's not complete, such as these people, the mind of the viewers, of the audience, is so magical and powerful that they will finish it in their imagination, if you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, if that makes sense. So now I can go back to my story. So yes, I can say that I owe everything to Jesus and I owe everything to God. And I came to realize that I actually have gluten-free intolerance. After all the things I have done, after all the numerous unimaginable emergency visits, all the doctors that I've encountered, it was gluten intolerance. How I was able to figure it out, I did some research. I started to eliminate little by little all those gluten food with gluten, and I started to buy gluten-free food. I started to change my diet from vegetables only and protein and fruits, and the symptoms faded away little by little until there were none. I want also to tell you that I started to take moringa, so that's the miracle tree, and I will write the complete name in the description. And I think it was the gift of God for me and to humanity. So this moringa tree, Jesus showed me that this can help me to be cured And this is actually the tree that is very famous in Asia, especially in Philippines, I think. And even the government asked people to plant this tree in every garden or front space of the house in Philippines. That's how famous this tree is. And it saved a lot of people from spending tons and tons of money for a cure. So what it does is that it strengthens your immune system and it cures inflammation. And since gluten is some sort of inflammation, my muscles, my nerves, everything, it went inflamed. Moringa was a perfect cure for that. And along with my gluten-free diet and walking, I'm doing walking every day. My body finally healed, and the inflammation that I was feeling all over my body, it was completely gone until now. So praise God, praise Jesus Christ. And so I hope that, although it was a bit difficult for me to talk about it, I get really emotional about it. But I feel like if you are in this situation that you have symptoms like body ache, muscle pain, foggy mind, unable to focus, depression, back pain, muscle pain, hip pain, sometimes nausea, and really like you're cranky and like with panic attack and anxiety, try to eliminate the gluten in your food and maybe try moringa. And on the other hand is that go back to God, because I think the only cure to depression is intimacy with God, is intimacy with Jesus. And Jesus said that I am the light of the world, and whoever comes to me will never see darkness again. And that's how completely I feel right now, having God in my life, going to church every Sunday, going to church almost every day to pray. I found peace, and I was able to forgive lots of people that hurt me. I was able to manage my anxiety and my panic attack. And of course, every day is a struggle and every day is a challenge. If you have Father God, Jesus in your life, the Holy Trinity, the Holy Spirit, there is nothing impossible. Everything is just possible with Him. Just like Priscilla Scherer said, I love this woman and she really inspired me. And she actually helped me to be back to God and cling to God. She said that if you give your loaves and fish, which is your worries, your fears, your problems, your health, your family, everything, if you offer all of them to God and give it to God, if you give your loaves and fish to Jesus, He will blow your mind and He will make you feel and see the things that you would have never imagined to see. He is an amazing God. We are actually talking to a powerful God. But this is the kind of God that is very faithful and forgiving and loving. And if He allows us to suffer, and experience things that are so painful, do not leave and go away. Stay and pray and ask God to give you the wisdom to see what He's trying to tell you in the areas of your life. Because I think we are humans and we can be weak. So prayer is very important because it connects us to God and it pleases Him that we have this moment for Him. And it's like a fuel, a fire that our faith, we have to fuel them. We have to put fire on it or else it will be gone. So I think if we make an effort to know God and continue to get to know ourselves and discover and improve our relationship with other people and our families, and you be always mindful in our actions and in words, and be conscious in what we do every day. I think the Holy Spirit comes in us and the burden that we feel is not as heavy as it was before. So I want to finish this painting by saying that focus to God, follow Jesus, and everything in your life will be in order. You will feel the peace and love, and you will see the light that Jesus has promised us. Thank you so much for listening to my story, and I hope that inspires you and help you in a way. And we're done in the Cityscape watercolor painting, and I hope you like it, and I'd like to hear from you. Comment below if you have some questions, and I will be very happy to answer you. If you have any requests on what I'm going to paint next time or suggestions, feel free to comment below as well. So thank you, and I have more tutorials on cityscapes and line and wash, so please watch them.